So, it's time for another... I forgot my headphones. Sorry about that. But these don't look like headphones. That must be because they are microphones. But what am I doing with microphones in my ears? Stick with me to find out more. So the microphones that I was talking about earlier were sent to me from Thomann in collaboration with Sonarworks. But what do they do and what is their purpose? They are part of the Virtual Monitoring Pro package from Sonarworks. It promises to help you get your studio sound with you on the road. Let's talk about what comes in the box. First, you get a flyer with a link to the kit's instructions and an activation key. After that, you can find this cool little carrying bag. Inside there is a metal box-like thing. It has a USB-C and a 3.5mm jack input, a cable to plug into the USB-C port, and the microphones themselves. These are what they call binaural microphones. You can put them in your ears and they record the sound surrounding you. These are the instruments that help you get the sound of your studio into your headphones. They actually measure not only the sounds coming from the speakers, but the reflections from the room as well. And because you put them in your ears, they also take into consideration your head features. To get started, you need to go to Sonarworks and register your product with the license key. Note that Virtual Monitoring Pro comes with a license for SoundID Reference, but only the headphone side of it. It does not include the ability to calibrate your speakers. If you already are a SoundID user, Sonarworks have a discount ready for you when buying Virtual Monitoring Pro. I will leave links in the description for you to check out. That being said, the setup is quite straightforward. You download the app, install it, and open it. In the SoundID Reference app, you need to select a new device. That is your sound interface. Mine is the Audient Evo 8. For minimal latency, I select the dedicated ACO driver. With this out of the way, you need to make a new Virtual Monitoring Pro profile from the drop menu up top. Once you click that, the Measure app will launch. Now, this is an important part that took me a few tries of hit and miss to understand. Once you get into the measuring app, make sure you close the SoundID Reference app. That means closing it from the tray in Windows. If you let it open, as I did on the first few tries, the calibration will be off. It will sound metallic, with no low end, too many highs, and no wideness. First, I thought the unit was defective until I realized this. With that out of the way, you can start the process of measuring. Sonarworks give you a list of things to get done before going to the measurement of your space. First is the microphone that needs to be plugged into your PC. You just plug the microphone into the black box via the mini jack, and with the help of the USB-C cable, you plug it into your PC. Note that Sonarworks recommends using the USB-C connection, but if you don't have that on your laptop or computer, you may use a USB-A, provided the socket is version 3.0. USB-A 2.0 is not supported, so keep that in mind. One more important thing is the sample rate for your sound interface. It must be at 44.1 kHz. I usually run my PC at 48 kHz, as is better for video purposes, so I needed to change that. Also, have your volumes at medium normal level. Click next and the app confirms the microphones are plugged in. You need to put them in your ears and give them little taps to confirm they are in good working fashion. One of the most important things is you need to assign the left-right output for your speakers on 2 channels, and on the other 2 channels, the output for your headphones that you want to print the sound of the studio to. My headphones are the almighty and popular Audio-Technica M50X. You should also take into consideration that the Virtual Monitoring Pro is meant to be used with overhead headphones, not in-ear ones. Carrying on, we must get the levels right for the speakers. It will play a white noise sound and the app will guide you to the optimal volume. After that, you need to do the actual measurement of the room with the help of some sine sweeps. The same process will be applied for your headphones, first the volume matching and then the sweep. If everything is alright, the app will analyze your measurements and make a profile. The last step is the one where you fine-tune the sound to your liking, by comparing between the speakers and the headphones. This felt a bit challenging for me because I second-guessed myself, and so I left it as it was. Save your profile and you are ready to go. Open SoundID Reference and load your new studio profile. You can feel the wideness in the sound like it is coming from your own speakers. Now you can go and enjoy your studio sound while on a trip or on vacation. Not sure the wife is going to be happy about that, but what can you do? If you ask me, one of the better uses of the Virtual Monitoring Pro is actually for people who are starting out and don't have a super tight room, but they do have access to one. My music place is built in my hallway, so room acoustics aren't the greatest. Taking that into consideration, I packed up my things and went here. This is the studio of the PCON Masters in Audio and Visual Engineering in Bucharest. For those of you who will want to know more, I will leave some info in the description. They have a nice studio for working with students, which sounds pretty dope to my ears. They welcome cool experiments, and so I took an imprint with the same steps that I showed you earlier, using the Virtual Monitoring Pro. Now I have the same sound in my headphones when I am at home, and I can use that as a reference when I do my mixes. This could be an opportunity for people to share their studio's sound and compare. It even begs the question, what studio would you like an imprint from? Comment down below. As a personal comment, the sound does feel white, you can hear the room and the speakers blasting the sound right at you, but you don't feel the low frequencies interacting with your body, even if you do hear them. It is a strange sensation, but you do get accustomed to it really fast. Something like virtual reality headsets, but for your ears. As long as we are talking about spaces, if you want to know more about my music space, check out this video. Cheers!